Nobody's got it.
Emails.
Okay. So, does everyone, are you getting us copies, Donna?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
We do have it on the email, but it's
Yeah.
a different email.
Right,
Yes, it's not on the icon.
I was looking for the
We
email.
have to go back to our own emails, pull
Right.
up the
Thank you.
email. and-
AOL or whatever.
This is it right here, we got it, right?
Okay. So, are there any changes to the
More
agenda?
than I wanted to know.
Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Or a
Second?
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any public comments for HEC?
Probably not.
No?
I'm sorry.
Oh, checking.
Maria, Santa Maria?
Is that for HEC?
Yes.
Okay, I don't see her in the audience.
Here.
All right, if she comes in, we'll let her talk.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me, where's the music coming from?
Your ears. Nobody else is hearing that.
No, I can hear it. Can't
No,
you?
yeah.
You're making
Pulling
fuss.
her leg. Casey, I think you've got the power. Oh. Who did that? There we go.
The minutes.
Okay, music off.
Musical.
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item, we have two information items. The HEC construction budget report. Y'all want to come up?
Chair Siegel, Dr. Guzman, members of the Learning Center District Board, good afternoon, almost good evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to reintroduce Robert Martinez, who is with Hill International, and the college has contracted with Hill International for construction project management services. And now that we're really moving into the construction phase, you'll be seeing lots more of Robert. And also, given my retirement effective October 1st, you'll also be seeing more of Robert presenting information on the construction situation. And what we would like to do this evening is to update you on the design, really, of the building since the May meeting. And at that point, we had completed the schematic design process. So you got to see a general layout of, how the building would be sited and the numbers of classrooms and that sort of thing. Now it's beginning to take form, and it's really exciting because it's beginning to look like a living, breathing, wonderful higher education center. And so Robert is actually going to walk you through the design that we have currently. And hopefully you have hard copies of the PowerPoint presentation in front of you as well. Do you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. We've got to make sure everybody has all the documents. So if the cover page looks just like what is on the screen here. And then also,
I got it. That's all yours.
yeah. And in your packet, you'll also see the wonderful new information brochure on the Higher Education Center. This actually was just delivered from the printers a couple of weeks ago. And this replaces the postcard that we had before, and we're going to be using this as our primary marketing piece at all the recruitment events. And if you look carefully in the inside of it, you'll see that we have New Mexico State's logo, and there also their contact information. And we also have more detailing on the degree plans, what SFCC associate degrees are directly articulated with our HEC four-year partner institution bachelor's degree programs. So we're really excited about this.
This is very nice.
It is.
Thank you. And thanks to Janet Wise and her crew. They did an excellent job, and they continue to do so. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Robert, and he's going to give you a broad overview, and then we're going to end up with the approved construction budget that HED approved in last January. And so we'll give you, kind of the full picture on where we stand with this construction project.
Thank you, Tina. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Madam President. It's nice to see everybody again. I'm going to see if I got this clicker to work. Okay. So last time you saw the project, really it was a bunch of building blocks, really, and it was just more talking about adjacencies and how this thing is going to look. And quite frankly, where we're at now is you can see that the project is sited on the project site. There's been a few changes. For example, we've been able to realign the parking, for example, from east-west orientation to a north-south, and we ended up with 18 more parking spaces. That's always good. And just one of the components that have changed. Right here, you'll see the entrance, and then the building proper, the flex labs, and then the courtyard. And we wanted to show you the floor plans because these two have changed quite significantly. So what you have here is the entrance and then the collaborative learning center. This wall here and this wall here are all glass. So what you see as you're walking up is you get to see this really grand two-story space all the way back through the courtyard. It's a really beautiful thing, and we'll have some better images later that show that. Right off the collaborative learning center, you have the administration space, okay? Maintenance on the upper right-hand corner, and then the classrooms are laid out. What you'll notice in the classrooms is that there's a shared storage space in between them. This is to allow for flexibility in the classroom setting and the arrangement of the environment, whether, chairs and tables and whatnot. And then you'll also see some offices, some little gathering study alcoves, some adjunct professor space where they can actually stop, sit down, have a place to work day in and day out, and this occurs on both floors. The other thing that you'll notice is the flex slabs are pushed down to this side of the building, and that's purposeful. The reason for that is those flex slabs are going to be used at longer hours than the rest of the building. Okay, so you'll see classes there at night. And so there's a rolling door that's right here that shuts off the rest of the building, access to the rest of the building, but the flex labs can still be used. They even have their own little overflow courtyard there.
Weekends and nights.
Weekends and nights is when that's actually going to be used a little bit more. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a computer lab in those areas, or is that part of the flex lab?
Oops. Wow. Ooh, we both got up to the microphone at the same time. All of the classrooms, the entire building is going to be wireless, and there's going to be a private cloud. I think I have the right term to describe what's going to happen. So all of the classrooms can be scheduled and used as a computer classroom, but there's not going to be any of the classrooms that are permanently configured as such. And we did that purposefully based on the input from our four-year partner institutions. And they're talking about issuing iPads and all kinds of things to students, but they're not, some of our partners will be having cows, where the mobile computer labs, but all of the classroom space, including the flex labs, will be able to be configured. So if we don't have a traditional kind of class scheduled in any of the classrooms or flex labs, we can schedule it for a computer lab or for, in hybrid online classes if there needs to be some kind of gathering with your iPads or electronic devices or whatever you want to do. Plus the collaborative learning center, that large space that Robert was pointing out to you, that will have pod areas where students can work together. But there won't be a traditional computer lab. And I think that KC might also be able to elaborate a little bit long, but we've been working with the IT folks over many months to figure out what the best plan is. So we'll have state-of-the-art technology infrastructure in the
But
building.
no place where students who don't have access to computers can
Oh,
come and do their work.
that will be in the collaborative learning, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, collaborative learning.
And the
center.
the collaborative learning lab is like a library, study
Starbucks.
center, clubs, everything, and there will be computers there.
I see.
But the flex labs are really for the medical professionals. Those are specific, that's why we put a bathroom in between. There will be CNA classes, that's why they have a different front door. So the hospital will be able to use them anytime, 24/7.
I see.
Chris?
Thank you.
So is there gonna be a different type of entrance, or if the flex labs are going 24/7, is it they still will come in through the collaborative learning center?
They have an entrance right here. There's a door here and a door here that allows them in. It also allows them into the hallway to use this area as
And
a
the
small
restroom.
lobby in the
And
restroom.
that'll be those different hours
Yes,
of
sir.
the rest of the building?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if in fact there's a class, let's just say 10 o'clock at night, they'll have no access to the rest of the building at all?
That's correct.
Okay, and from the parking lot, they'll have to come around this way?
That is correct.
So they would just, Board Member Abeta, they would just walk around, the parking lot area is right here, and the general entrance to the building is right here. And so you would just walk along the side of the building, and that's why there's the outdoor courtyard, and there's exterior doors. Shut this down, so there's no access to
Access
the
to
rest of the
that part or
building.
to the
And
other part?
there's another restroom here. This restroom,
That's for
in between the
instruction.
two flex labs is really designed to be allied health.
Yeah,
facility.
instructional.
And we've already started some of the conversations with Krista St. Vincent about, expanding the course offerings that we have.
And in our work session, they talked about having the solar array in the parking lot. Has that been already planned in there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Where is Siringo as you look at, on the left side, Siringo?
It's down.
Down here?
Down on the bottom,
Oh, I see, okay.
and then,
So that's where,
Yeah, let me flip back, right there.
yeah.
So this is Alumni Drive, and Siringo is
Extension
down
of
here.
Yucca.
okay, okay. Thank you.
So we won't be providing any computers or anything, will
No.
we? Okay.
No. Our our partner institutions will be providing their own equipment. We'll only be providing equipment for the classes that we teach there, and we are planning on teaching a lot of general ed, dual credit enrollment courses for Santa Fe High School. So we're only responsible for providing the equipment for the courses that we're teaching.
Okay. All right. Second floor?
One thing I forgot to mention, and this occurs on both floors, is the courtyard. So what the courtyard does is, in order to gain some efficiencies, we double loaded the corridor, meaning it's accessible from both sides, from classroom and from offices and whatnot. But in order to get some light back into the building, the courtyard allows light through the penetrations, which you'll see in the 3D modeling that we have coming up. And it allows for the entire space to be very well lit.
Go back to the first floor to show the instructional space in the courtyard.
Right in here.
Yeah, outdoor.
There's also a planned outdoor teaching area to be able to take advantage of that courtyard in that space. And there's probably many uses for that beyond that of just the college, perhaps the community as well.
So that's like covered to make it useful, or?
No, it's not covered, but it is, there's not an overhead covering there, but there will be seating, and there will be an outdoor chalkboard, whiteboard, not a whiteboard, but the outdoor version of that.
It's slate, but it's a fair weather space for sure.
Right.
So the second floor, then, you will see the Collaborative Learning Center is open to below. So this is a two-story space. It's a very active, as Tina had indicated. It's a little bit satellite and Starbucks type of atmosphere, but it's a great place for computer use, for gathering and whatnot, and to make somewhat of a community out of the building. Again, we have a 4-pod classroom set up right above the administration space, and then you'll see the classrooms around the perimeter again.
Focus rooms and study.
You will see some focus rooms here and study alcoves, a small office, study alcoves here in the green. Again, those are little breakout areas for the students to be able to pull themselves into a space, close a door, and actually have a group meeting or group study. And then the alcove is a little bit more on the open side, but the same function. And there's the 3D views. So what you're seeing is the parking lot is out here, the entrance, and then of course the two-story structure with classrooms. This is the courtyard. You'll see some coloring here, different coloring. It kind of adds some life to the courtyard. We don't know exactly what those colors are, but we put some in there so that you know. And then,
Just a question to orient myself.
yes,
So
ma'am.
the courtyard is a north-facing?
The north is where I have the laser, so this is south facing.
Okay, so the courtyard is south-facing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's pretty much facing towards Seringa Road.
Okay.
And then you can see, as Tina was indicating earlier, students would park their car, walk down this sidewalk into the flex room. So that's how you access the flex rooms after the rest of the building is closed. And then just another view as though you were driving up Yucca or Alumni Drive. This would be the flex room, the courtyard, and then the parking lot over there. And then just a really clear, sort of nice view into the courtyard itself. You will notice over here, this is the administration space, and there's an overhang created from the 4-pod classrooms up above, and so there's a little bit of a private courtyard for the administration as well. It's quite nice.
So what are the security issues if the 24-hour space is far away from the parking lot? How do you anticipate that?
Well, I think that we're going to be addressing that through the lighting on the campus, security cameras. We'll have cameras. There will be monitoring of the security system, and there will be patrols from the SFCC security in general. We mostly have been working on speccing out the cameras and everything, the security system for the building, but there will be an extensive one. But again, there will be sufficient lighting to make sure that it's safe, and that there will be, if there are classes going on, there'll be lots of people there, and they'll be there at the same time. And if we need to, we can have escort service or whatever, but it's really not going to be that far a walk. It's not going to be as far as it is to walk to the parking lots here at this campus.
Chris?
Is there a specific security office?
Yes, there is. You want to go back to it's on the first floor, and it's right by the front entrance. No, right there.
Okay. And that'll have, just like ours, will have all the cameras and everything and the monitors and everything.
Right. And then there's also reception area right next to it. So there's controlled access. So as people walk in the front entrance, they'll be walking right by security, but that will be really during the regular hours. So if the flex labs are being used on the weekend or whatever, and a lot of that would be during the day anyway, when it would be daylight, but there will be, a 24/7 security presence on campus. This
And
is now where it
then-
gets really exciting.
So this is an extruded view of the floor plan with the furniture actually in it. So we've started on what they call the FF&E, fixtures, furniture, and equipment package. And the architects have already gone through and started laying out the furniture and then walking us through, quite frankly, each component, each chair, each table, where they belong, where they're going to go, colors, ergonomics, things like that. So that's the stage at which we are at now. Now, and these are, honestly, these are just the pretty pictures. All the structure and the systems are all being developed at the same time. And the schematic package from the architects is due at the end of this week. So we'll see a little bit more so than you're even seeing here.
One question. Is there a lot of involvement in the choices that you have to make of furniture and colors and stuff like that?
There's
With
quite a
our
bit of
campus?
involvement, honestly. We've asked the deans to come in. We have, we've had facilities in, we've had a number of other people in, and, we're talking about why not put casters on particular chairs? Well, sometimes they move away when you go to sit down. So we're having all these very detailed discussions to make sure that we're selecting the correct furniture for the building.
Great, thank you.
Actually, it's been the vice presidents, the deans, the former deans when we had 5, and now the 3 deans that we have. We have had Ron Moya involved and Alex Solorzano and Brian Combs in terms of the sustainability and everything. So it's been really extensive involvement. And as we continue to make choices, what we've been working on is the programming of the FF&E. And now the architects and their staff are coming back and confirming what it is that they heard from all of that input. And we won't actually have to purchase the furniture for a while because of the construction schedule. And so that's where we are. And as Robert mentioned, we are just completing the design development phase, and then we'll be moving into the contract documents and actually starting to move some dirt out there. And what you've got in your packet also is a hard copy of this budget, and this is the original budget that was submitted to the Higher Education Department last January, which they approved for $11.967 million. That's the cost for the construction of this building. It does not include the land cost, so that if you included that, it would turn out to be about $12 million total out of the $35 million 2010 bond measure. And wanted to let you know that after having gone through the schematic design, and actually gone through schematic design twice now because we were put on hold, and then having to update or move into the design development phase, we did have some unforeseen cost associated with this project, but it is our intent, and I'm here to ensure that, and Dr. Guzman is shaking her head saying yes, that, and Robert's shaking his head yes too, that we are staying within the original approved $11.967 million budget. And we do have some constraints, actually some flexibility and constraints. We can't exceed 10% of that budget, or else we have to go back to HED to get approval again. And we know that we don't want to have to do that again. So we are highly motivated to stay within budget, in spite of the fact that we did have unforeseen expenses due to that delay, which include the cost of updating the building program, then updating the schematic design, and then we had to do a second selection process for the construction manager at risk, because at the time that we were put on hold, we were just in the midst of doing it the first time. So we've covered those costs, and we have strategies developed to ensure that we're going to stick within that $11.967 million. And because there's been a delay in the schedule and we're planning on a spring 2015 opening for the building, we have a lot of flexibility in terms of like when we purchase furniture and when we purchase the technology equipment for the building. So we're in really good shape, and we're going to stick with that budget.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Well, even though some of the costs that we didn't know were coming was the cleaning of the site.
Yes, yes.
I think you should address that because that was quite a big cost.
It is, and thank you, Dr. Guzman. The site, if you've been to the site, you'll realize that it rises up somewhat. Well, and then there's dirt on top of that. What you don't know is what's underneath that. And at some point, this was a construction dumping site. And that's across the entire site. It's anywhere from 3 to 6 feet deep. And
Just
so,
construction materials.
yes, and it's only really construction material. So we're finding concrete, we're finding asphalt, we're finding burnt pallets, wood pallets, and so I'm not sure if there was camping on the site at some time or what. But we have to clean that, and we have to sift that, and then we have to recycle it. By the way, we get sustainability points for doing that process. But that is a cost that nobody knew was there. And we do now. We understand what that magnitude is, and we also have that covered within the budget.
And what is that cost?
It's about 285. Yeah, it's significant.
Yeah.
We really didn't know, and so what we did is we asked some folks to go out there, a subcontractor, and dig some test pits. So they dug 5 test pits, and this is what they found. It's 3 to 6 feet deep across the entire site.
I continue to get questions about the prairie dogs and how unstable they have made that ground. I suspect that you figured that out.
I've been in direct contact with the gentleman that is securing and releasing the prairie dogs for us. We've been on site several times, and there are some new holes that he says they are just visiting, but they are not staying. I didn't know prairie dogs did that, but I'm learning. But right now, they have extended, by the way, their warranty. We've asked them, look, we got delayed. Would you please extend your warranty for us up until the point of construction? They did, and they did it at no cost.
Well, the worry has been not about the prairie dogs that can be removed, but about the instability of the ground.
We're going to be going much deeper than the prairie dogs ever go. I think they're going to be stopped by the concrete, more than likely.
Yes, and especially after the removal, all the earthwork that we have to do to address all that construction debris and everything, and literally have to sift and everything, and then compact the entire. There's not going to be any problem whatsoever.
Thank you.
So it's going to be much lower than it is now.
Well, what happens is we have to excavate that, and then we have to bring in structural fill, so we build it back up.
Is it LEED certified? I forgot.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
But it's silver now.
The requirement is silver certification.
That's all we can afford now?
That's all we could afford. We wanted first platinum, then we went to gold, and now we're at silver, but that's much chicer in New Mexico anyway, so
We'll stop there.
Okay.
we're at silver.
All right, any other comments?
Madam Chair, a quick question about public transportation. Are there public transportation options near the new building?
Yes, there's actually a bus stop that is right on Siringo Road across from Santa Fe High School. And in conversations that Dr. Guzman and I have had with Mayor Koss and his staff, and even prior to Dr. Guzman coming on board, talking with the city staff, they're more than willing to work with us to make it work. And in terms of how, they would tweak the bus schedules and everything to fit what we're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, then we are on to the campus operating budget.
That's correct, and
I don't think we have that. Do we have that?
yes, it's in your packet, and it's got a blue.
The last one, the last page.
This. This is what. No. This is the
I don't seem to have it, but I guess we'll look at it up here.
Not there.
Okay. Chair Siegel, this is related to your request at the May Learning Center District Board meeting to see the operating budget. And it was a year ago at your August meeting. And the reason why the operating budget it comes to you in August is because of the quarterly scheduling of the Learning Center District board meetings. And so it didn't come in June because we didn't have a Learning Center District Board meeting in June or in July. And what I think that there has been some confusion between the operating budget for the on-campus pilot that is moving the HEC into the new building, and then what was presented at the January 2013, the 5-year financial plan, which is also in your packet again. Could you? This is the operating budget. This is
Right now.
for right now, and you'll see the asterisk down on the bottom. Scroll down to the bottom, please, Donna. It says HE building not open. So if you scroll up to the top now,
Right.
okay, so what we've got is the revenue. We're paying for the current on-campus pilot operating costs with the fees that are paid by our partner institutions. And we currently, this is the breakdown, and the new partner is New Mexico State, and they're paying $20,000 this fiscal year. So we have total revenue of $140,000, and the expenses are the same. So we are going to stick within our budget. Plus, this is an account where we can, it's an agency account where we can carry over funds that were not spent from last fiscal year. The books, we haven't completed the audit yet for the college, but there will probably be approximately $10,000 to $15,000 of carryover funding that will add to that $140,000. But the bulk of this is salaries, partially my salaries and benefits. It's very simple. We're mostly putting office supply, we're doing promotion and printing. That's where the bulk of the money is going. And what we're doing is we are complementing the marketing efforts of our 4-year partner institutions. And it's all coordinated. We all use the HEC logo. And so we're able to get much more for our bang, and we're able to get lovely documents like the brochure that we distributed tonight through this budget. And this is pretty much where it's going to stay until we move into the new building in spring of 2015. Very simple, streamlined operations, bulk of the money going to marketing. So if we move to the next, the 5-year financial projection? Yes. Now, this, I think, created some confusion. Chair Siegel was remembering this document and thinking that this was the budget for the HEC now. It's not, and it was presented, and what we've done is clarified that this was a 5-year financial projection for 2015 to 2020, meaning from the first year that the new building opens. And this was done and presented to you in January as part of the report on the HED Capital Project Review Committee meeting that happened on January 9th, where we requested and received approval for the HEC building design plans. And in a meeting prior to that HED hearing, Dr. Guzman and I met with Dr. Garcia and staff from HED, and they specifically requested that we go through an exercise like this to just demonstrate that the building would be sustainable. It wasn't a requirement of what we had to present. It was a request to provide this information because of the changes in the formula funding and the fact that there's not going to be, BR&R or utilities funding in the new formula. So this was totally based on our estimates of the staffing and, numbers of partner institutions and amount of FTE that SFCC would be generating and how much revenue we'd be bringing in through that. But this is still not the final 5-year financial plan for the real building that you just saw the design for. And now that Brian Zemer is on board, I have an appointment with him on Friday, and we're going to start working on that financial plan based on, the size, the square footage of the building and what we know about current partner institutions. And now we know a whole lot more about what kinds of courses SFCC is planning to offer there. And we also know more about what our 4-year partner institutions are going to be doing. So now we can start working on a real 5-year financial plan, and it will be coming back to you probably within the next few months.
Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
And we have really nothing else on the agenda. So, can we have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay,
now
so we
it's
need to take like a 5-minute break before we start, or should we start right away?